I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. And today's presentation is titled Mindful Living: Four Helpful Ways to Calm Your Mind and Keep It from Racing. It's no fun to go around day to day feeling about 100 thoughts swirling in your mind at the same time. Confusion, frustration, anger, negativity, and fear can certainly put a damper on your mind. Over time, all that dense energy may even affect your health. Does your mind tend to be busier than you want? Do you wish you could fall asleep fast at night, but it takes you a while because your mind is racing? Do you feel like you can't calm your nervous system? If you answered yes to any of these questions, take heart. There are things that you can learn to calm your mind down and enjoy some wonderful peace and quiet. So, mindful living is a good start. Now, one of the things to remember is our minds, our brains are constantly taking in information. And when we're taking that information and we're mulling it over, so sometimes depending on the situation around you, if it's stressful or there's some fear involved, then what happens is it's something that kind of sticks in your mind and you just can't get rid of it. And you're constantly thinking and thinking and thinking about it. And often what happens is, especially if you have low self-esteem, is that you're always thinking about the past and what happened in the past and how it's affecting you today. And it affects you in the relationships, it affects you in how you feel about yourself. Because if you come from toxic relationships, especially as a child, those thoughts are always going to be with you. So the idea is, how do you get rid of those negative thoughts? There's many ways to do it, but let's look at mindful living. Chaos sometimes comes before clarity. Sometimes when you're just about ready to experience a breakthrough or a new season of your life, confusion and chaos will show up. Have you ever experienced that? Is it like all mental heck breaks loose and you think you're going to lose it? You're thinking, what did I do to deserve this? But then, as suddenly as the chaos started, it ends. You've done broken through and you got to enjoy clarity and peace. Look back on your life and think about how you made it through so many things. What does mindful living mean? Mindful living simply means experiencing your life in a higher, more intentional state of awareness. You pay attention to more things. You are aware of your senses, your surroundings, your words, the people around you, and so on and so on. Mindfulness, the practice of maintaining a non judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment to moment basis, said Merriam Webster Dictionary as its definition. This is part of where the calm comes from. By living mindfully, we are paying attention to the present moment. Much of our worry comes from anticipating what is to come, or regretting, rethinking, or being triggered by what has passed in the past. Anxiety often comes from the fear of what will happen, But of course, we will worry about how we handle something or what we will do if that something pops up again. Part of overcoming stress, worries, and anxiety is learning to see our thoughts as just that, thoughts. We don't have to attach meaning to all of them, especially the negative inner voice that we have. Practicing living in the moment and only paying attention to what is happening right now can give us some space from the weight of our worries. So, how do I start living a mindful life? There are many, many options on how to best start living a mindful life. At the end of the day, though, it's really about a few key things. Be more observant of what is going on around you and within you. How do you feel? What do you think? How are you doing and what are you doing? How do you spend your time and with whom? How do you make or how do they make you feel? What brings you joy? What makes you feel bad or like you want to avoid making or thinking about it? Being more aware of everything will start to guide you toward areas of focus. If you find yourself coming back to the same thing over and over again, like a conversation or a memory or a task. Write it down. More on that later. Record it and go back to the moment for now. When are people Okay, let's start over. When people talk to you, stop thinking and just listen to what they are saying. And this is known as active listening. You will be surprised at what you learn when you listen without agenda. And then about how much everyone enjoys being heard. It will deepen your relationships as well as provide understanding. Don't complicate things. Focus on one thing at a time. When you're out on a walk, look at the birds, smell the air, laugh at your dog and partner. Notice how the grass is starting to grow back. When other thoughts invade, go back to the beginning. No multitasking. Do one thing at a time and really focus on the experience. This is where enjoyment comes in. Carve out time every day for mindfulness practice. It doesn't have to be the same time, the same amount of time, or a long time. Just carve out and protect. Okay. Just carve out and protect it. Do it every day. Now, before I get any further, remember this that focusing in on yourself, thinking about the negative, those are the things that you want to change. But you need to focus in on yourself to the point to understand why you feel the way you feel. What were the external things around you? What were those toxic relationships? Or any relationship for that matter? And was it a good relationship or a bad relationship? Because if it's a bad relationship, then what's happened is you are internalizing things that other people are using to hold you back. And until you get rid of those things and stop internalizing them and stop repeating them to yourself over and over again, then you will be stuck in the same place that you've always been. So the 7 attitudinal foundations of mindfulness practice from the book Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn, PhD. These are more to do specifically with mindfulness meditation, but for those of us who like structure around what we are doing, these serve well as areas to ponder and shape our experience. 1. Non-judging. While humans have certainly become good at judging everyone else, we still are most often our own worst critics. That ugly, negative voice in your head, that's probably some version of yourself being hard on you. Practice mindfulness means that you learn not to listen to that voice, or at least to listen without reacting. If you have the same thoughts popping up over and over again, yes, you need to get to the root of where it comes from, that you may overcome it. But learning to be an observer or just to witness and be aware of your thoughts is a powerful lesson in mindfulness. 2, patience. We often feel like we are just racing along at breakpoint speed from one thing into the next, which is really the opposite of mindfulness. Why are we doing this? What are we working towards? There is a saying that anything worth having is worth waiting for, and that requires our patience. We can't have everything as soon as we want to. We must give ourselves the space and time to improve, to grow, to practice, and to believe that what we are working towards will happen in good time. Don't forget that most habits, good or bad, take time to build. 3, beginner's mind. Think of how little kids react when they are learning about something new or experiencing something for the first time. They are amazed, curious, ask lots of questions. Why? Because their minds are open to this new idea. They know nothing about it and feel no issue or worry about being beginners. This is the mindset of mindfulness. Less. Too often, we get stuck in a rut of our own making because we think we know how things are. This can block us off from how we think things are versus the reality of what they actually are. Being open to life as though everything we do is for the first time again makes us more receptive to other perspectives, and you may be surprised at what you learn when you get the hang of it. 4, trust. For some reason, many of us have stopped trusting ourselves, our guts, our own feelings. Part of mindfulness is to regain that trust in ourselves, our own intuition and authority. We will make mistakes along the way, but if we trust our own selves and our ability to make decisions and accept accountability, we will be able to grow. 5. Non-striving. Meditating or practicing mindfulness is about being in the moment, meaning being right here in the now and the present. Don't think about the past, don't think about the future, but be aware of what's happening to you right now. There is no goal, no achievement, no medal waiting for you at the end. You don't have to do anything other than be in the moment. It's about being yourself and existing right now. This is often why people have such a hard time practicing meditation. Many of us simply don't know what to do when we have nothing to do but sit still. That's the point. Your goal is to be yourself. Sit in the moment. Focus on yourself. How do you feel? What is your body telling you? How do you feel after you've shut everything else out? 6. Acceptance. This one lies around the area or the idea that we often try to deny things that we just don't want to accept as real or facts. We try to force them to be what we want instead of what we are. We have to accept ourselves as we are in order to grow and change. It's not about tolerating bad behavior or not wanting to improve. Rather, just saying, okay, this is me. I have good things and bad things. I see things as they really are. 7. Letting go. This is a natural extension of acceptance. Once we accept how things are, we can loosen their hold on us. Sometimes we let an idea, a comment, a past mistake gnaw at our poor brains until we feel frantic and really down on ourselves. There is power in knowing what we have a hard time letting go of, be it a person, a feeling, a memory. Exploring why we are holding on to it can tell us what we need to do to let it go and become observers rather than live within it. Now that you have some basic tenets of mindfulness, it's time to just practice. This is the key. There is no finish line. There is no 30-day guarantee. You practice every day. Make it your own and pay attention to what works for you. All of us will have a different experience. Practice mindful living. To be mindful means to live in the present moment. It means to be aware of the now rather than thinking about the past or the future. We may be in a season of inner or outer chaos now. The mental chatter may be incessant, but don't lose hope. In fact, believe that as you keep your faith, whatever that means for you, there are some important things happening deep within you. Do you best to focus on your breath moment to moment? Whatever you're doing, do it mindfully. with your attention right there on your task. Your choice to live mindfully as an optimist will pay off. You may be tempted to get frustrated or depressed. You might want to say, "This is ridiculous," and taking forever. Resist the urge to swim in the negative sea. Rather, take some time to get quiet with yourself. Take a few slow, deep breaths and relax. Continue to focus on your breathing. That inhale and exhale. Mentally recite things like, "I am at peace," or "all is well." Know that the clarity and the breakthrough will come in due time. Trust the process. Embrace your feelings. When negative emotions arise, such as sadness, frustration, grief, or fear, take a little time to embrace the feeling. There is a reason that a negative emotion has risen. It may have an important message for you. It's easy to feel the intense emotion and get right into fear. If that's what you're used to, then it might take some time to break this habit. There's a phrase that's common in therapy circles. You have to face it and feel it to heal it. Do you have racing thoughts in your mind? Are you or are they, most of them, negative? Practice embracing your feelings. The next time this happens, do these 4 things. Sit quietly and let them pop out. Begin to observe them. Feel them for a few moments. Have a conversation with them internally. "Hey, fear, what is it? What message are you trying to get to me? Oh, you need me to create a safe inner space." Take some time every day to shut the world out and go within. "Okay, fear, that's what I'm going to do." "Hey, confusion, I see you. I hear you. You're worried that I won't make the right decision. I get it, but I want you to know that I am doing all I know to make the right decision for me. I'm showing up as a responsible adult, and I'm taking silent time to gain some clarity." You can step down confusion. "I've got this." You get the idea? Practice mindful living. Acknowledge and embrace the emotions, the momentarily, and then let it go. Let them float away like the stream. Trust that whatever decision you make will be right ones for you at the time in your life. Now, ask for help. Practicing mindfulness and meditation are great ways to help calm the mind. However, if you've been there and tried them to no avail, consider reaching out for professional help. You don't have to stay stuck with racing thoughts dominating your mind. There are professionals who are qualified to help you gain some clarity of mind and freedom from negative emotions. Consult with a therapist, a life coach, a mentor, or whoever else you know for help, and give yourself permission to receive assistance. Now, one of the things to think about is, if you like nature and the beauty of nature, sometimes you can just sit under a tree, be alone, deal with your faults, work through them. And what remember this, going to a therapist Just because you go to the therapist doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to be cured. The idea here is that the therapist can help you if you really want to change. But if you go to a therapist and you're not willing to change one iota, then you're never going to change. So no amount of therapy can cure and be the end all to every answer unless you're willing to do the work as well. So be patient. It takes time to learn how to calm the mind and experience mindful living. There are neural pathways in your brain that are fairly set in their ways. However, you can learn to rewire them with some time and effort. You might not experience complete peace of mind overnight, but that's slight. Learn to be patient and trust the process and your path in life. Do what you can and let the rest come incrementally. Enjoy each day living mindfully in the moment. Trust that things are working out for you, that you're becoming more peaceful, that as you commit to living mindfully, you will be able to experience peace, harmony, and serenity. And the last thing that I'm going to say on this is there are times when you have to get rid of the toxic relationships in your life because those toxic relationships affect how you think and they also affect how you can work through your mindfulness and getting into the present and getting rid of the past negativity and just be aware of where you're at and what's happening right here and now.